callouts are gonna be I don't think it's I don't the term yeah, it'll be mirrored on this map. It's so you only have to really worry about one side. So you have main, you can just call this main. Then this goes out to cliff. You can call this base cliff and just cliff. You need to differentiate like a sniper's peeking. You know, if a sniper's peeking like this, you can call this base cliff. If a sniper's peeking like this, you can just call it cliff. You can call this China, this little strip of area. If a sniper's peeking from here, you're gonna call this Japan. So you can peek down here and get a little sight line down there. This will be bridge. This is house. This is main, which connects to spawn. This will also be main. This is grass. This is concrete. This is connector, which connects to the enemy concrete. I said bridge already. This little hut, it's got a lot of names. You may hear just hut, highlander hut, seagull, shack. All of those can be used. Whatever you decide to use as a team, just know that it has a couple names. This is rock. Snipers like to play on here for a little bit of cover. Sometimes they go on top of it. They do a little jump on top of it and see into cliff a little bit. This little area is called crates. Snipers like to stand here too. This little area is called caution or dog bread. It's called dog bread because if you no clip in here, there's a little bread with a pug on it, a little pug face on it. If a sniper stands here to snipe, which is a little more uncommon, but it's still you may see it. You can call it sheets or sheet metal for the sheet metal. This is house. You'll normally find like a teleporter here, maybe sometimes teleporter there. And this little strip you can call porch, because snipers like to play here as well. Always nice to have a little more specific callouts for where a sniper plays, because
For sure.
sniper dominates this format and dominates this map even more. Speaking of sniper spots, this is another one. You just call this boxes, like boxes on grass. So you can peek on here and shoot onto someone on rock. That should be everything. There isn't much else. Everything on this side of the map is just symmetrical. So then you have concrete again, rock, blah blah blah, cliff, porch, house, all that jazz.
No wagon.
So product is a map that's dominated a lot by snipers and DM.
By 1 point.
In the most recent grands, I think versus it was I think K and Hood Naruto, one of those
Confirmed
Demento or what's the word I'm thinking of? Demento teams versus the I think it was Don't Press Tab, which is like the Adam AGB Nixie sort of team. Both teams ran crits, which really goes to show you how much this map can be like, how aggressive this map can be played and how DM like sort of oriented it can be. Now you guys don't have to run perma crits. That would be, you know, you don't have to run crits. Don't think that Ubers are totally fine, but it's a very aggressive map. Scouts and demos, you're gonna have lots of fun. Snipers, you're gonna have lots of fun. Spies can have lots of fun. Maybe not if they're playing an invite. But a lot of work gets done, and it can be very fast paced, as opposed to a bit more of a slower map like maybe Asheville or Lakeside. So let's talk about mid fights. So, because the mid fights are gonna be the first thing you encounter. You know, your combo rolls out. Most of the time, you're gonna roll out through main. Your demo sticky jumps to here. You know, sticky jump to point through here. And then your combo just follows through, getting whips from your soldier. And they can either roll out through main or through. Oh, I forgot to mention this little area you can call Valley. Yeah, I can't even go back to call out, so look at me, rookie mistake. It's okay. This little hill up you can call Valley, and then this little cubby you can call Pocket. Yeah, Pocket. And if a sniper stands on these, you can call it Windows. Another uncommon spot, but you can stand on them. You also stand on the top of them. Little things to know. Yeah, back to mid fights. So yeah, your med can either roll out towards pocket side or roll out towards main and try to play behind rock. Your demo and scout should be trying to fight the point, demo getting out spam either behind rock or in pocket, depending on where they're playing. Your scout should be, just floating around trying to shoot whatever your demo's shooting, getting also damage around. We're also looking for maybe someone that bombs fast on the mid. Sometimes what a soldier will do is he'll either come through main and then bomb off this wall to go behind,
Yeah.
or a soldier may just roll out cliff with a heavy, because a heavy likes to play cliff sometimes, and he'll just bomb off this wall off of pride and go behind, or just straight into rocker pocket. So as a scout, you just kind of want to hang around, play on top of the rock a little bit, shoot whatever's getting too forward on the point, shoot things that are bombing over, and then once the point becomes available, you always want to try and get a little bit of cap time on it. Your flank, your soldier's probably going to want to hang out. If he's not doing a bomb, that is, he's going to want to hang out on Seagull. If he wants to bomb behind, like I said, you can bomb off that wall and bomb from cliff to get behind. You can bomb like from there onto the enemy China through this little wall and land here, and maybe you find a sniper pick on their China something, or you can just spam from here. If you just want to bomb straight into them, depending on where their med is, maybe the med's playing behind a rock, you can just land on him and try to get some rockets off. If he's playing in pocket, do the same thing. Otherwise, you want to try and have him play on Seagull and just sort of lock down connector, make sure nothing floods the flank and gets through and sort of pinches your combo. Your Pyros should be playing a pretty passive protective role. Your Pyro is going to want to be looking out for bombs, checking for spy. Generally, as Pyro, what I like to do is I like to try and clear one side for the spy. So I'll generally try and maybe like puff some flames this way at the mid to try and catch the spy if he's crossing towards caution. If I don't catch him, then I know he's either fast cross, on the other side, or he's just not going to be behind as fast. And hopefully, if he does cross this way while the Pyro's checking that way, you will use one of your teammates to maybe bump him, shoot him by accident. Maybe your soldier finds him as he's crossing connector.
Yeah.
So let's see. Your demo's just going to be getting spam out, calling your aggression, calling your pushes usually, calling his damage, with your scout supporting him. Just trying to get damage, get lots of control. It's really strong for demo to play like around here, because then he gets really nice spam onto behind rock, which where a lot of teams will maybe sometimes roll out. And he can also spam pocket pretty well. The only flaw is that if a sniper goes cliff, you're in a sight line, so you may have to rotate off of it. So if your demo's playing here and the sniper's called cliff, your best bet is to rotate to the left side and then keep spamming, like from behind rock into pocket. It's not going to be as easy, the angles aren't as nice, but you're also alive to do it, because the sniper is sitting on cliff and you're not in his sight line. Your heavy, depending on how you... There's a lot of ways to play heavy on product. It's actually pretty nice to see how many different ways you can play him. So one way is you can play really passive. You can play on cliff, and you can just sort of be eyes in the sky, looking for bombers, looking for spy, and only really walking forward when your entire team's committing. Dropping down off once your demo calls to walk forward. But otherwise, you just hang out on cliff, look for bombers, look for spy. That's totally acceptable. That's totally a thing you can do. Another way you can play is, which has gotten a lot more popular recently, is you can play with heavy towards the flank.
Yeah, that's what I was doing in our scrim today.
You can have your heavy play towards connector. He can normally sit on this little lip, and he can't get shot from connecting, get splashed by like a soldier, but he can't get shot by hit scan easily. He won't be in a sniper sightline from cliff, and he can very easily walk into connector, maybe a soldier would from Seagull, and overtake the flank. And then now you have their concrete, which gives you a beautiful way to sort of damage and pinch their team, especially if they're behind rock.
Yep.
And it also opens up to taking more of their grass, flanking behind maybe a bit deeper, but that's not always necessary. Otherwise, you can play sort of a little mix. Sometimes you play on cliff, sometimes you play on concrete, depending on what your team needs. Maybe if the soldier's getting a lot of good bombs in, then you can have your heavy play on cliff. Maybe if your flank needs a bit of help and the soldier's not bombing a lot, you can have him play towards concrete. Another place that's really strong for heavy is on top of a rock. Or not on, or on rock right here. You have a nice little heglish to anything on the right side of the point. Another thing that I don't see a lot of heavies do, but I kind of like doing it, is you can sort of jump onto a little ledge right here and head glitch like this over the wooden fence. Just another neat little head glitch. I like it. I don't see many heavies doing it, but I think it can be really strong. I think it'd be a really good position to play in. Just always gotta watch out for snipers.
Yeah.
You're NG. So as NG, if you want to get your telly down on rollout, I normally just put the telly here. It's a pretty standard safe spot. If you want to put it inside house, that also works. Other spots I've seen the telly is in this little corner on cliff. I personally prefer it to be here behind house. I think it works just fine. But whatever your NG wants to do, something I'd recommend for your engineer is if they don't know how to do Eureka effect tellies, I highly recommend they learn how to do them. They're really simple and really easy to do, and it cuts the teleporter cost in half. So instead of it costing 200 metal to upgrade, it costs 100. It saves you a lot of time and makes NGs much less of a slog to play.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Alright.
it's really nice. I can do a little demo of it afterwards, but for
Alright,
now, as an NG, there's another two sort of play styles. If your snipers are really snipers again are really strong class in Highlander, sort of dominates the format. So one way you can play NG is just sit on your sniper. If your sniper wants to play on concrete, then you can just sit and protect him from spies and have a mini near him. If your sniper wants to play on cliff, your NG can follow him and just sort of, you know, play around him, make sure he doesn't get stabbed, make sure your sniper has as much uptime as possible to get the maximum out of him. Because a lot of the things spies will try to do is they're just going to try and kill the sniper on repeat because, well, he's a really strong class, and as spy you have the ability to do that.
True.
If you know, but well, let's be honest, we're not in infight here. We're in like IM or even main or even advanced. The snipers may not always be the dominant force on either team. So I don't know who you guys consider to be your strongest classes. Maybe you have a really strong heavy player and you want to play around him and you don't want to play around your sniper as much, that's fine. So if you don't want to play around your sniper as much because you feel, oh, maybe our combo is really strong, maybe our demo and scout are the stars of our team, maybe you can have your NG play a more combo oriented NG, really aggressive, have really be really like present with the shotgun, almost like a second scout. Well, obviously, keeping his buildings up. That's also another viable thing to do. It's the playstyle I personally like to play on NG, and it can be really effective if like done well. Like having minis in main, having a mini on your Japan and wrangling it is also very nice. Having a wrangled mini on concrete is really strong if you're not with your sniper. And just having the shotgun gives you a lot of it's really surprising how much an engineer can actually get done if like nobody shoots him or nobody like if you just walk in at the right times and play aggressively with your team, and as you can get a lot done that way. Yeah, it really does, especially if it's wrangled. Especially if you wrangle minis, like wrangled minis on concrete are such a pain to get rid of, and they do so much. Because the wrangled mini here, you can wrangle all of point, and if they don't shoot it, that's a 300 HP mini sentry that they have to deal with. And
Yeah,
a
I think
mini in
that
main.
last scrim, I had to deal with like that godforsaken concrete wrangled mini sentry. It was terrible.
Mm-hmm. And a mini in main, like right around here, can stop scouts from edging the point. So if they even try to peek up a little bit to get some point time, they just get poked by the mini and they're forced to get off. And then you can sort of follow up with your shotgun. It's great. And something else you can do on NGs, you don't have to always put your minis in the same spot. Have a little fun with it. Maybe you want to throw a mini like over here in like overtime to try and have it shoot people that are playing aggressive on the point. Maybe you wipe their team and you want to put a mini in their Japan that faces like this, and so it serves a little distraction as they walk in. Go for it. You have a lot of freedom as NG to sort of experiment and be creative, and I think that's a really good way to improve. is to just sort of try things out, and maybe not always go with like the like hard quote unquote meta stuff.
True.
I mean, yeah, it's there for a reason, but it never hurts to experiment. So you're a medic. Your medic should have a. I think medic's kind of fun in Highlander. I think it can be very rewarding to sort of wrangle your players and sort of have to like work around sightlines and such. But if your medic rolls out main for like a mid, then it's gonna be hard to avoid lots of spam. Maybe there's already a sticky here by the time you want to walk. If your scout doesn't shoot it, maybe you just have to sort of take like 30 damage and walk past to try and get behind a rock. You're gonna want to try and keep your ears open to find out where their sniper is, because if their sniper's on cliff, you can't really peek aggressively this way. If their sniper's peeking from China, then you can't really cross into pocket, or else you're in a sight line. You're never really gonna see your medic heading towards like grass or concrete. Maybe during downtime, give your flank a buff. If they need heals, your soldier can always get an arrow, unlike Seagull, or your scout can run to you for buffs. So generally, you're going to be trying to play around rock or around pocket. This depends on where you roll out and where the sniper's watching, and where you think it would be the best to sort of heal your players from. Like if your demo is playing the right side of point, you can't really heal him easily if you're playing in pockets. He's pretty far away. So maybe it's better there for you to rotate behind rock to sort of support him, and maybe your scout playing with him. And other than that, just making sure you're watching out for spies. Checking back. A tip from Rogue, who is a invite medic. He played for MCM. He played for KMD in season 7 for a while. But what he says is to do is when you're sending out arrows is to always look behind you before or after you arrow, one or the other. That way, it just makes it very hard for a spy to actually get onto you. So that's mostly it for medic. Let's see, sniper. Oh yeah, sniper. You are the king of Highlander. You get to have your team play around you, and you get to be one of the best classes in the game that controls pretty much the flow.
If my team plays around me.
Yeah, if your team plays around you, that is true. So if your team plays around you, you get to have a lot of fun. And the best part is, because you're playing sniper, you get to force your team to do it. Because you go, I'm the best class in Highlander, and you will play around me if I'm hitting my shots. And especially on a map like Product, Sniper is going to rule. He can peek from cliff and get a very nice angle onto point and onto their concrete. He can peek from China and see all the way into their valley.
I
And
love
also,
peeking those points.
yeah,
To play off of concrete though.
yeah, playing out on concrete is also good because if you play on concrete, you can see onto cliff, you can see all of point.
Yeah, I don't mind playing on concrete. I mean, I like all the points. So, but this last scrim, I got picked off by their spy 9 times.
Yeah, that's gonna happen. That's gonna happen a lot. Spies love to kill the sniper, and that's gonna be your spy's main goal too. Is just make the enemy sniper's life as hell as possible.
You cannot play the game. No game for you.
Pretty much. But yeah, snipers have a lot of places to peek. They can peek from porch and see, across all the left side of point. If they want to play aggressively, you can play on the boxes. You can see into base cliff. You can also peek a little bit into their main. Maybe you play like over here, see into their main a bit. You have and you just pretty much want to maybe wrangle your NG, like, oh, NG, come play with me. I'm going to play on concrete, make sure I don't get stabbed. Thanks. And then you do your shooting. Pretty simple, but pretty impactful. Now it comes for your spy. Your spy's main goal is to bully the sniper. In Invite, a lot of teams have to put a lot of resources into protecting the sniper because spies, the main thing they do is bully the sniper. When I was first, a couple years ago, when I was first getting into the higher levels of comp, I think at this time I was still playing in advanced, and I was just trying to get into the pugging scene a little bit with Highlander pug and just sort of get a little better. I played a pug as spy, and I stabbed the enemy sniper like 13 times. And after the pug, they called me a little bug. They called me a little goblin, and they said if I kept doing that, I was gonna go far. And spoiler alert, I killed the sniper a lot, and then I did really well. So the sniper is a really good pick to get. So even if you can't necessarily stab him, maybe he's playing on rock and he's got a lot of protection. You're like, oh shit, I can't stab him. What do I do? You just like peek out a cliff, shoot him with your revolver, like maybe once or twice. Get him to flinch, get him to unscope to turn around. That also works. But just bugging the sniper is gonna be your main goal. If you're
Our
not
spy's really
always,
good about that.
yeah,
Kevin,
that's what I
thank
like
you
to
for
hear.
that.
Another thing that Spy's really good at is calming. Spy can give you info that nobody else can give. Your spy can tell you where their med's playing, can tell you their mediguns, what medigun they're using, whether it's crits or medigun. He can tell you what their percentage is if he looks. He can see enemy player HP, which only your medic can do if he's using the Solemn Vow. Spies can do a lot just by talking. And talking with your demo and your soldier specifically is highly advised because you can coordinate with them and you'll do so much more work that way. Because if you coordinate with your demo, when he's putting out spam and they're forced to look at him, they won't be looking at you and you'll get a bunch of picks. If your soldier wants to bomb in, say their med's playing in pocket and you're doing a sack wave, your spy's going to want to coordinate with your soldier. That way, when your soldier bombs in, maybe he bombs over a cliff and into their pocket, they're all looking at him and your spy can decloak and get maybe a nice med kill. Maybe he gets 2 kills. Who knows? But he coordinated with your soldier and you get lots of kills off of it. Those are the main things for spy. It's just sort of coordinating with your soldier and in your demo and calming a lot and bugging the sniper. Yeah, that's pretty much it for sort of the mid fight sort of deal, and what your general role is in, I guess, in Highlander for how to play mids. For mids, your spy wants to cross, try and get on the sniper, find out where he's as fast as possible. Soldiers can either play passive or aggressive bomb, Xian demo play together. NG sort of, either plays midi combo scout or plays with your sniper. Sniper just looks for picks, obviously. Now, let's say you win the mid, right? Your demo goes huge, gets like 300 damage on their team. Your scout follows up. Your sniper finds 2 picks. Your spy finds 2 picks. Boom! You win the mid. You get the point. Now, what do you do? How do you hold it? So the best place for a medic to be generally is in pocket. Like either you don't really want to hug inside the cubby too much. You sort of play a little bit back, just so that way you're not really sort of caught and eat a lot of spam. You can play a bit towards here. That way you can still get out heals towards players playing here. If you're heavy still on Cliff, you can heal him a lot. And you can also still arrow maybe your soldiers or NG on concrete. And worst case scenario, you run away, grab a pack base Cliff, and come back. If you do kill their medic, then you're gonna have Uber ads. So you're gonna have like full Uber, they're gonna be at like 30% maybe. They're most likely gonna send a sack wave into you. So they're probably gonna have their demo bomb, their soldier bomb, their spy go in. Some teams may have like other classes go in as well. Maybe they'll send a pyro in, maybe they'll send a scout in as well. But your entire goal for that part is to just make sure your med lives. Like you want to fucking hide your med in Fort Knox. So you want to be wary for spies. Spies either coming, they may if the heavy's not on cliff or the heavy's looking forward, a spy can decloak and then jump down into pocket. Spy can jump down off of China. He can come from base cliff. He can come from house. There's a lot of places he can come from. If your med's playing behind a rock, maybe he has to rotate there. Spy can decloak in main. He can come from bridge. He can also come from China. Just places to watch out for. A soldier bomb, it's generally going to come from skip over this Pride Rock. Maybe he bombs from cliff, maybe he bombs from China, but he's going to try and do a little skip jump over the Pride Rock and then land in pocket, maybe land on China and get rockets in on your pocket. Having like your scout or heavy ready to sort of laser him out of the air, your pyro ready to reflect is always nice. A mini sentry can also nullify a soldier sometimes if it's wrangled, unless it's a really fast bomb, then it may be harder for a mini. And it's really just something actually really important to note. If they're doing a sack wave and they have like their heavy and NG like also walking across from like the low ground while the demo and soldiers going high, your demo's gonna be the one primarily dealing with them. Your demo shouldn't really be going for like awesome air shots. Like yeah, it's fun to go for air shots, don't get me wrong. But if you use all your ammo trying to shoot the high flying demo and soldier, and then a 450 health heavy comes across and gets on your men, your combo, it's not a pretty sight. Yeah, well, that's a part of playing demo. Like, you're always gonna want to try and have a dispenser up so your demo can have ammo. You always want to try and sort of save it for. I don't want to say save it because obviously you want to be putting out as much time as possible. But you know, yes, like if you're, if maybe their team's about to take an exchange, or if their team's about to push in or take a dry fight, you always want to try to have like most of your stickies loaded, most of your pipes loaded. You don't want to waste it all before the fight actually happens. Now, let's say you successfully defend against the sack, and your med lives, you still have full Uber, but now they have Uber. So what's gonna happen, right? The most likely what's gonna happen is they're gonna take an exchange with you. They're gonna probably jump off cliff or maybe walk through main, and they're gonna use on maybe a demo scout. And most of the goal with the Uber is gonna try to get you to use and to get Ubers out of the equation. So you want to try and milk it a little bit, but you don't really want to try to use like once your demo gets a little bit low, if your demo or scout's getting really pressured, you just want to make sure they're healthy after the Uber for the post fight, and you want to make sure that you don't lose too many players in the process. When you're on the defending side, your Uber is generally going to be a little bit better than the enemies, just because they have to use first, and you can sort of milk it for a little bit if you need. So as they're sort of so you're always gonna have like maybe a second extra Uber than them, which you can use to sort of damage them for the post fight. But once the Ubers are gone, it's just a dry DM fight. You want to try and have your demo scout playing together, calling focuses, shooting the same thing. Your sniper is gonna want to be in a position to peek once the post Uber happens. Because when there's a lot of shiny people going on, you can't really shoot them because they're shiny and they're sort of immune to your bullets. So it's always nice maybe just hang out a little bit, wait the 6 seconds, 8 seconds the Uber lasts, and then you can peek again. Just makes things a little easier. And maybe you have your NG with a mini ready for concrete to do the post fight, and at that point it's just kill the enemy and don't get killed. Focus, work together, and get things done. Work with your spy, work with your other teammates. And if you win the post fight, you still have the point. Hopefully their med dies, and then you just rinse and repeat at that point. Maybe they have time for another dry fight where you just where it's just another little bit of a DM battle, but otherwise you're gonna have ad again. Then it's just rinse and repeat. Sack wave, Uber, blah blah blah. Now let's say something goes wrong. Maybe you don't win the mid fight. Maybe your med dies, and you're on the back foot. How do you properly sack into the enemy? How are you gonna properly, retake the point? So, like I mentioned, when you're defending against it, you're gonna want to send a sack wave. You're gonna want to have your demo and soldier bomb. Your soldier can bomb off of cliff. Your demo can just sort of sticky jump from cliff as well. Maybe you can do some fancy like pogo through valley. I don't know. I was never too good at sticky jumping, but if you can do a nice little double pogo, whatever. Otherwise, just one sticky off cliff, lands in their pocket, land on their med and their rock, wherever he is playing. That works. Always gonna want to have your spy coordinating with them to try and get the med dead, or the med force, just get the Uber away. Maybe, like I said, maybe you can have your heavy go in, maybe you have your scout go in as well, maybe your NG. You can work that out. It's, there's no sort of set thing, but generally you're gonna want to have at least your demo soldier spy. If something very important to keep in mind is you need to make sure your medic lives while you're doing a sack wave, because while you're doing a sack wave, you're not gonna have 3 or 4 of your teammates up. So it's a really good time for them to also go for your med, for maybe like a spy or maybe a flank class, maybe a counter soldier bomb. So it's really advised to always have like a pyro playing with your med, maybe an NG, maybe a scout, maybe you don't send your scout in on the sack waves. The sort of mix and match is up to you guys. Just depends on what you guys want to do, what feels good. But I think a pyro and an NG and a scout is very nice. And another thing you should also keep in mind is you don't want to play too close. So let's say your explosive classes are jumping from cliff. Well, maybe your med gives them the buffs. You don't really want to hang around because if they force and their demo jumps, he can land on you pretty easily. It's pretty safe to just maybe your scout runs you back to spawn. You just hang out towards here. That way, no. If the Uber does come out and their demo does bomb or other people do get forward, you're not in any immediate danger. And you guarantee your med's life so that you'll have the Uber advantage so that you can take an Uber ad push into them. So wow, your sack wave works great. Very nice. Now you have Uber ad. How do you take the push? They're probably going to be playing, a little scared. They may be playing aggressive to try and get you to force early. But if they're doing that, then maybe they're playing normal. Maybe they have a little bit of presence on dog bread. Maybe they're playing on the point a little bit. The great part about that is you have Uber and they don't. You can probably walk up cliff, be mindful of sniper obviously, and just take a demo and scout Uber into them. If they're playing close, your demo and scout should just have a field day. They're nice and shiny, they can't take damage, and you just completely obliterate anything that's standing in their way, while people cap from behind. Otherwise, if they're playing a bit passive, you don't always gotta use the Uber right away. Say you walk up through main or through valley, and they're sort of chilling behind rock or in pocket. Your scout can sort of just play on the point with your demo. And you don't really have to use right away. If they're giving the point space, you don't really have to take it. Or, you don't really have to, use in to actually take the point. You can just have your players stand on it, and since they're like, oh, they have Uber, oh, what are we gonna do? Oh, we're so scared. Then they'll just let you have the point. And then you can take the point, and you won't have to use your Uber at all. Which is a very big plus. Otherwise, maybe your demo gets low, your scout gets low, your med gets forced, whatever. You can just take an Uber into them and try to have your scout chase. It's good to not, over chase. If you get forced and your scout and demo are over here and they're already out base cliff, you just kind of gotta cut your losses at that point. Maybe send a soldier in with a flash, but just sort of cut your losses, get the point, and try to see what the Ubers are like. Maybe they have 10% ad, so you can sort of just chill out, call it even. And then you have to, take a dry fight, take an Uber exchange, blah, 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 stuff like that. But you don't really have to chase too much for a med kill in that sort of situation. Now let's see, we went over how to play mids, we went over what happens if you lose a mid, you gotta try and do sack waves. We went over if you win the mid, how to defend against sack waves. How to really take an Uber ad into them. Oh, okay. I'll go over. Let's say you have Uber disad. Let's say your med gets forced from a sack wave, right? And your med's still up. You don't have to leave right away. But they have full Uber. They're about to push into you. How do you stop it? How do you make sure your med lives? What's your sort of goal in that situation? Well, one really good class for in this situation is a pyro, because with air blast you can just sort of puff their Uber up into the air. And if you can't, even though you can't really damage them, you can push them around and bully them. You kind of take their lunch money. So you sort of puff them in the air. You're probably not going to maybe stall 2-3 seconds of the Uber, but that's really big. It gives your med a lot of time to run away, so make sure your med lives. And it's pretty much, your scout maybe runs your med out because scout speed, and your pyro will try to maybe give their life to make sure your med lives. Say they take a demo Uber across rock, your med's playing in pocket here, your pyro's here. All he's gotta do is puff them up, air blast, try and stuff the Uber the best he can, while your med runs away and leaves. Hopefully that way your med lives, and you can just you'll have ad, and then you can just take an Uber ad push into them. That's pretty much it for product. I think that covered a lot of how you want to play koth in general, different class roles, what to do in certain situations.
Can you
yeah, what's up? I was gonna say, if you have any questions, what's up?
Yeah, can you go over a forward hold?
Yeah, sure, I can do a forward hold. So, if any of you have played sixes before, you may be familiar with a forward hold where, like, you have a demo on Cliff, you'll have a scout on China, and then like the rest of your team playing on grass. You're rarely ever gonna have a forward hold that's like that forward in Highlander. You're not really gonna be playing on their Cliff too much. It's not as strong because of sniper, and as you have other classes like pyros to break those sort of forward holds. If you do want to experiment with it, I think that's great. I think that'll be really good to try. I'd recommend having your demo and heavy or your demo locking down Cliff. Your heavy can sort of play towards China. Oops. Play towards China or Cliff, rotate around depending on what's called, whatever. Your med can sort of play like over here behind this little sheet metal as to not be exposed to a sightline from main. But if you have main locked down, sure, he can play here. With your demo, maybe your scout plays here too. Your soldier and NG will want to lock down the grass. And the rest of your classes, maybe your pyro plays with your med too. And your sniper, there's not really too many places for a sniper to play in a forward hold. A little cheeky angle you can use.
Yeah, I like the window peek.
Yeah, is on this little window you can peek into main. I like doing it a lot. It's a little cheeky, a little funny. Just peek into there from the window. If I could actually stay on the window for more than 2 seconds. There we go. A little bit like that. Something I've seen teams do is if they have a really aggressive hold like this, is the sniper still just plays on rock and looks into like main, or maybe he plays on crates and looks into the base cliff and into main from here, and just has this NG sit with him, so he's not entirely alone.
All right.
Now, if you want to do a maybe not so forward, like in their face forward hold, but I still consider it a pretty aggressive hold, is you can have your med playing in caution, like around here. Maybe a bit back, like around here, to just sort of depending on the flow. Your demo can play up like this, spamming onto cliff. Your sniper can still play on crates. He can play on rock, on top of rock, on the little on the little fence post, on the tippy top of the rock, on crates, on concrete. Your heavy can play. Your heavy, I think the heavy can do a little heglish like right here. Scout's a little bit shorter, but he can heglish a bit onto cliff. Maybe he can play like right here, just play behind his demo a little bit. Just sort of playing in the caution area, maybe on point a little bit. That's another way you can play while your flank just sort of controls their concrete. So something I know Aaron, the invite NG, who also played a little bit for MCM. Something he would do a lot is he'd put a wrangled mini right here, and he just sort of control grass from concrete. And it's not as aggressive as being directly on their face in grass, but it still works out pretty well. You have a lot of control this way. Have a soldier with you. It's nice. The rest of your combo has this area locked down. Your demo can have sticks maybe here. Maybe he has stickies. Also, a nice sticky trap right here on this little ledge. That's a very good trap. Remember that. Yeah, so those are two ways you can sort of forward hold. I'd personally recommend the not so forward hold,
Yeah.
just because I think it's a bit easier to use, easier to pull off, a little bit stronger. But I totally am open to you guys experimenting with a really forward hold. If you find that it works, totally go for it. Because if it works for you guys, you know how to do it well, then teams aren't really going to know how to handle it. That's the great part about experimenting. If you find something that you guys like and that's not really like common or used, or haven't really seen it before, other teams won't know how to play around it. That's the best part.
Especially in this division.
Exactly. Hell, even in invite,
True.
doing like little new things or like off meta things can catch teams off guard very easily. When I had to sub in engineer for Shovel, I think last season, I had to play again. I subbed in for I think 2 weeks. One of the weeks was on Swiftwater, and we were streaming K&D on Swiftwater. And if you don't know, K&D is really, really, really good at Swiftwater. Jarrett's very good at the map. They played really well. They have really sort of nice strats, like holding forward on first, and they've sort of invaded a lot on the map. And on Swiftwater, I put my sentry gun above side tunnel, which hasn't really been used in a while.
Yeah.
Normally the gun's sort of on the bridge, like up top with your team, and the side tunnel gun stalled K&D for like a solid 5-6 minutes on second alone. So like new off meta experimental stuff is really cool if you can get it like to fit with your team and to get it to actually work. It's really nice to like sort of try around with, and I really encourage you to like experiment in your scrims. It'll make a really like big difference.
All right.
Any other questions, comments, concerns, queries?
Yeah, I actually got one more.
Yeah.
Do you prefer a cliff push or like a main push when you don't have point? Obviously.
So it depends on where they're playing, I'd say, and where you sort of yeah, it depends on where they're playing, and also if it's like an Uber ad push or if it's sort of a dry fight.
Okay.
If it's an Uber ad push and they're playing like on point, I think coming up cliff and then just Ubering a
True.
demo
Yeah,
and
you're
scout
right
while
into
jumping
them.
off is really strong because they're all right here. It's close. You sort of jump around the corner, surprise them. It's really strong. If they're playing, a lot more passive, if you still have Uber, you can definitely go for main and just sort of like try to get point time, maybe not use entirely. If they're playing really heavy, like concrete presence, some team, maybe a team's doing a really like, maybe the enemy team has like their heavy playing in connector, like, or your flank's gone overrun a little bit and they send like a lot of presence towards the left side of point. Then sure, taking your Uber like early through main, that's totally chill, like doing a scout demo through main.
Okay.
It just sort of depends, where's their sniper playing and where the enemy team actually is playing. Because obviously, if the sniper's on concrete, cliff doesn't look too good anymore. But main looks nice and free.
Okay. All right.
Anything else from anybody?
I don't think so.
Sounds clear.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, yeah, that's pretty much product.
True. Yeah, you want to show us that
Oh
Eureka
yeah, I'll
effect
show you the
thing?
NG thing.
I'm just curious because I haven't seen this.
Yeah,
I don't play
so
this stupid class.
okay. Oh, this is actually really good because since I'm streaming on Discord, you can see my my loadouts. So you want to have two
Let me take a look at that actually.
So basically, you want to have two identical loadouts, like literally identical. The only change is one has the gunslinger and one has the Eureka effect.
Sure.
So like, and when I say identical, I mean like identical. Like if you have Wrangler 1 and Wrangler 2, they both need to be Wrangler 1.
Oh, okay.
So like, try to have like a way to like I sold all my other Wranglers and this one's an
Just-
achievement item. So I know that this is the one. So basically, what you do is you spawn on your Eureka effect loadout, take out a telly, hit a loadout bind to swap to your gunslinger. See, I now have the gunslinger equipped, and then
Just
place your telly. And now it costs 100 metal, and you have a gunslinger equipped, so you can place on many sentries.
That's so dumb. What the hell?
It's very useful and very nice.
Imagine if they actually like patched this game. That'd be crazy.
I mean, technically, it's not really a glitch per se.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you think about it, all you're doing is, as the NG, is you're taking out because the Eureka effect. One of the things, my game's in Italian, so you can't read it.
True.
But that's just one of the things from the Eureka
Yeah,
effect that
they're
it makes
cheaper.
the tellies one.
So you're holding it when you swap loadouts.
Yeah.
It's the
So
same.
essentially, that's all you're doing.
That's so stupid.
I don't know why it only works when you have like literal identical
Yeah, the
loadouts,
same
but
items. Yeah. That's
but
interesting.
that's how it works. Yeah. And then you have really cheap tellies and a gunslinger, and it's
Very
really
cool.
nice.
I'll let
I
Flint
saw
know
this
actually.
from, like Jag Effect, right?
Yeah, and it's also used in Jag effect.
Okay,
Like,
so Flint. All right. Flint will be able to do this shit then. All right,
yeah,
let's go.
it's real easy once you like get the hang of it. It's simple. And yeah, with Jag effect, like let's say I don't know, like first point is over there on like upward.
Yeah.
Throw your shit down at spawn. Throw down your telly like at first. Eureka effect back. Swap to your Jag. And then boom, you just upgrade all your shit at spawn. And you have the nice cheap tellies too. and
That's
then blah
pretty
blah
cool.
blah. By the time this is all over, your tally's up. Pick up your shit, bring it all to first, and then you're done.
All right.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right. Cool.
See, I'm trying to think if there's
we're
any
good
other
then.
like small stuff that I could like show. Oh, you can get onto this pipe.
Oh,
I like
yeah,
to go with you
spy
on
spot.
spy. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Also this little corner right here you may want to be wary
Yeah.
for.
So if they're playing aggressive on our cliff, right? Like they're
hmm
aggro holding. I was thinking about it, and I feel like a good play would be send our combo on grass and have our sniper just hold our cliff from main. Would that be a good course of action?
Yeah, like that's actually pretty much what you do. The only thing I change is that instead of having your sniper go main, is just have him come concrete with you guys. Because
Okay.
if you guys all bust out grass and they're playing that way, then not only is your sniper protected because he's playing in the middle of your combo, he still has this giant sight line onto them.
Okay.
And
That's
he can, if they try to lead, you can also
Oh,
just sort
true.
of
Okay, you can get from
get
there.
this
All
little
right.
crack shot if you need.
Okay.
Not necessary. Maybe you want to go a little closer, then you can see them
Yeah.
dog bread, whatever.
Actually, fall back. Yeah.
But this is the important part.
Okay.
Breaking their hold by having this sort of control is really nice,
Okay. All right.
and then you can just work from there.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, then that's it. So you guys are scrimming Saturday, Sunday, right? And then match
Yes.
Monday?
Technically, we have a demo to review, although I don't know how good it'll be since. Well, I mean, I don't know, man. Our soldiers actually on the team. We had as you saw, BBL was ringing on spy,
hmm
and him and our soldier were just kind of farming. So I don't know.
That works. Well, okay,
Yeah.
so
But we'll get
let's
more demos anyway. So
yeah, so
Yeah. What time is scrims on Sunday? Just out of curiosity.
8:30, 9:30 for both
Okay.
days EST.
Might need to find a ringer
Yeah,
because
yeah. No worries.
yeah,
Do what you gotta do. It's
I don't know what time we'll be back from the funeral, so
yeah.
I have
I
no
mean, if
idea.
you're not feeling up to play or anything, it's all fine, man.
It's fine. It's just one of those things. And this is
Sure.
all the way in Tucson, so it's a drive for me.
Yeah, man. If you get home and you're not feeling like it, or if you're staying there late, whatever, do what you gotta do. It's all good. No worries.
yeah, so what time did we say we were gonna demo review on Saturday? Did we say
I think you
7:30 or
said
after
I
scrims?
think you said after scrims.
Yeah, okay. Oh, good. Yeah, I prefer after. Because the way I like to think about it is
Like
we
you
map
fresh
review
out
on
of it.
Friday, right? Then you try to apply what you guys have learned in the map review on your scrims on Saturday. And if it works, great. Then we can see why things worked, and then if things obviously
Yeah,
you're
tune in
probably not
switching.
gonna completely roll, spawn camp, whatever, so we see when things fail and we improve there. And if you lose, we see why you lost. We can sort of improve that way, see what happened, and relate things to the map review and just sort of look at what went wrong and fix it from there.
All right. Okay. I mean, I think I'm good on questions.
All right, thanks for asking them. I've given a lot of map reviews in my time, and most of the time people don't ask questions, and I like it when people ask questions. So thanks for that.
Oh, I mean, of course, I'm trying to actually learn.
Yeah, it's great. And so I'm usually around if you want to DM me. Most of the time I'll be maybe in class or something, or I'll be I won't be at my home PC, but I'll
Yeah, on your
have
phone.
my phone if you want to DM me questions, whatever,
Sure.
talk
I
about
might try
stuff,
to
other stuff. I'm always around pretty
come up with
much.
some ideas or something and run them by you.
Yeah, sure. I'd love that. I'll talk TF2 as long as I'm not in class taking a test or something, or trying to figure out the homework for the in class. I'm totally down to talk TF2 stuff.
All right. Cool.
All right, fellas. Good luck in your scrims
Thank
tomorrow,
you.
and have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
All
See
right.
you guys
You too.
around.
All right. I'm gonna tap out as well, though. It's been real, y'all. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm gonna go late.